Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Well, today we got the non-farms payroll. And the market is pricing a lot of volatility for this event, even though the reports that I've read kind of are all coming in on the same place and they aren't really expecting anything too crazy. So that means that if we do get a crazy number, probably we'll get kind of crazy. Let's up the brightness there a little bit. Good morning. Okay, so I've already looked through the markets here. There's not too much change from yesterday, so I am just going to we'll go through those later after the news. I'll give you real quick. The consensus expectation is 160K, with the previous reading being 143K. If we have a reading below 140K, you could see some chaos. I don't think that it's very likely, but if we were to get a negative reading, you could see like a negative 3% down day in the S&P 500. But all the indications that I'm getting from the reports, I have this feeling that it's going to be really bad. We'll take a YOLO experimental trade. Long, okay? But all of the data that I'm getting is saying that it's going to be pretty close to that consensus. So, I have a little bit of food, so I am going to turn the camera off for a bit and finish eating before the news, all right? All right, here we go. 10 seconds. Remember, this is going to be an absolutely massive move, probably either way. And if we do get a number that's close to the expectation, you might see some weird behavior later in the day. So let's see what we get. Okay, that's a pretty big jump. It is slightly below the expectation at 151, but nothing too crazy. Well, what shall I do about this? This will be fun. So the S&P 500 is buying on that. I thought that the reaction function would be kind of more of the pure reaction, which is, you know, the less common reaction. But when unemployment is less than expected, or when jobs creation is less than expected, we see the S&P 500 sell. But since it was only slightly under expectation, it seems that they like that and they're buying. But the problem with that is that the treasuries are actually below where they started. So that doesn't help. There was a knee-jerk reaction higher. I sure wish I had a take profit order there. I'm actually thinking about stopping out of this sim trade. Morning, Amir. Forgot to say hi to Uzi, Octavius, and Ray as well. All right. Stopped out. Well, it was yellow. You know what? That's it's kind of this is interesting play. But I did say, well, okay. I thought if we were close to the expectation that we would get a reaction, wasn't quite what I expected, but then we would see some weird movement and behavior like much later, and I was thinking more like 15-30 minutes later. The initial reaction was really kind of weird. I think the unemployment rate ticked up 1%. What about okay, private payrolls 140 versus 145. Average earnings spot 3 in line with expectation. Is risk on? Yeah, I think you can call it risk on right now. But the problem is that the treasuries aren't buying. Like that should be a risk on because interest rates are going to go lower. We should see treasuries buying, and that did not happen. So probably my guess is that the movement that we're seeing has more to do with existing positions than it does people's changed expectations based on the news release. Right. They're recovering. It sounds like what's happening in the short-term bonds is maybe different from what we're seeing in the 10-year treasury, because my news squawk is saying that they're now pricing cuts in June. I'm gonna finish eating here. See, that's more like what I would expect to see after the number that we got. But I didn't want to hold more than $500 of risk, so it's okay. And it was the experimental account, it really was. So, but that was really there so that we could YOLO and be like, see, look, we totally predicted what non-farms would be. I did say it was going to be lower than expected. I mean, and I did say that we probably weren't going to see a crazy number. I guess I wanted to see something below 140. I wanted to see it lower than last month. We got lower than the expectation, but higher than last month. Very interesting. Okay. So, treasuries, big jump higher, big push against it, back slightly up. I would expect them off of that news to be slightly up, and the S&P 500 to like that slightly. But we might see all of that. We might see end of week flows and other sorts of things come in and kind of make this all irrelevant and or seem really confusing. Okay, so prepare yourself if it moves in a way we don't expect. Okay. Let's come over to Zero Hedge and see what they've got. High-level U.S.-Ukraine meeting set for Riyadh after Zelensky apologizes. Okay. But they do not have a good article on the report yet. Oh, yes. Should I keep this up? So yesterday somebody was saying, oh, actually, there is some empirical evidence of some consistently profitable trading strategies based only on price. And here's where it comes from. And I went and I looked this person up, and all of their back tests were in TradingView. Trump is pretty sneaky, giving Saudis the international. How is that sneaky? This is like exactly what I would expect. Like, he built a good relationship with them before he left office, and it's no surprise to me that he's going right to them at the beginning of his second presidency, you know? Book has not recovered. Max Payne is higher for weekly options. Well, I think you are right. I do not really see anything stabilizing, a liquidity hole forming, or anything like that. The market makers are just kind of letting it slide around everywhere. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, TradingView. So I think what I need to do is I need to make a video that is like, why TradingView's backtester sucks. True, but the previous administration all but begged the Saudis to increase production without success. I know, right? And now, without anybody saying anything about it, the Saudis opened the taps up. Like, because when that was going on with Biden, like, we were seeing a lot of people discussing that, right? And then this time, the Saudis opened the taps. I was like completely blindsided by that headline. I was like, oh, okay. Oil just, I mean, man, we come back to our longer term chart in oil. It was just like all of a sudden, whoa. And it just, especially from the 20th, man, oil just got creamed. The spice must flow. I'm never gonna not find that funny. So I'm kind of sitting here wondering if I should start working on why TradingView's backtester sucks, or if I should try and stay locked in here on the non-farms aftermath. And stuff of there, you guys all vote locked in. Okay. Well, let's at least follow it until we get kind of a key point to develop here in the treasury. Make a positive story. Well, I have a positive story coming too. It is hard to code a DOM for NinjaTrader. Why? Okay. Well, I don't know. I know that there are definitely like DOMs for NinjaTrader. One that I think like really gives you what you want. Maybe not. Right? Oh, you posed a question. Let me go find it. Oh. Wait, are you Rob? Put it in the media. Tools, export. We got the super down. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, that's why the whole reason why Jigsaw exists. This is basically the timeline of it. Is NinjaTrader came out, and that was like a big step up, because before you really had to use like trading technologies, XTrader or whatever it was called, and that was too much. And then NinjaTrader came out, and you know, all of a sudden that sort of stuff was like viable for retail trader, but it just didn't have the DOM features. So then the Jigsaw guys came along. Well, I guess it was really just Peter, but came along and built a real DOM for it, and it was an add-on for NinjaTrader. And eventually they decided, actually, we'd rather be our own platform, and so Jigsaw broke off and became its own platform. You can still actually run Jigsaw as a plugin in NinjaTrader if you want. So that's why it's kind of like, I don't know if you're really going to get like a really solid DOM in NinjaTrader without paying for it. You can get one that kind of gets the job done, though. Treasury is a little bit higher there now. Still not seeing much of a volume impulse from it. There we go. There we go. I got a rejection email from one job I had applied to that I kind of really didn't want to go through the interview process. So hold on, I got to go check something. Oh, I'm on mute. I'm sorry. How long have I been on mute for? Ah, Seth, you're so stupid. So I took a trade there. Like, I was able to get away with multiple contracts there. There was big icebergs on both sides. Since then, it's remained a little bit slippery. So I expected that to become a real rut. And so far, it has not. And so far, it has traded across this whole range. And in fact, I'm actually getting a little bit of counterflow. It's not enough for me to say, like, opposite and opposing meta order, but maybe some profit taking from the guys that were long. So I think that I'm going to try and hang on here. Cost basis. Well, so the buyer's cost basis is all the way back at 31.5. We are actually at the moment above the stop out zone. I don't know if it's not so common to see something that goes like this, right? So what's more likely now is for them to just ride this and for the cost basis to... Donald Trump talking about South Africa, eh? Okay. Okay. So now that it's getting back there, I'm gonna watch. How does the level 2 respond? So first of all, they cleared that offer. It's iceberging. Okay, the bid was pretty strong. The offer at the next price pulled almost immediately. So that's a kind of a slight sign, although not the best sign, that it is still kind of weary about all the volume that traded there. Oh, we need to pull this over. Okay, it is going back and forth, not a lot offered. I'm getting a little bit of tepid signs of it, but it's kind of slippery overall, so I don't know if we should read too much into that. Yeah, they're going back and forth quite a bit there at 10. So getting filled at 11 might be hard. You think we can get to 16 to 18 in ZN? Seems reasonable to me. I guess the 15 would be... yeah, 15 would be higher than Wednesday, right? I think that's a max if she... Yeah, that sounds more like it, yeah. Because when we get a really big impulse from a piece of news like that, it is difficult to overcome that high. I mean, I'm not saying that it's uncommon, but I'm saying it's difficult. It takes some real volume to get through that, because they were able to build that high in a period where there was hardly any market liquidity, right? So if there's liquidity there, it's going to be harder to get back over it. So we got over it. That was at, what was it before? That was at 10. 10 was the previous high. And now we're seeing big volume trading there. So that kind of suggests to me that it's going to be difficult for them to push much further. I think that the trade is long, but I think that the upside is a little bit more limited. We're probably going to have to wait for what I expect to happen is a more significant liquidity hole form around 10, and then maybe, well, let's see here. I'm not make sure that I'm not missing anything here. Okay, we do have some Fed speakers. Oh, Powell is speaking today? Hold the boat. Due to speak about the economic outlook at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business U.S. Monetary Policy Forum. We also have Bowman. That's also at the University of Chicago. And Williams. Okay. So this event at the University of Chicago is one thing that we got to keep in mind here. But I was thinking, well, if we form a liquidity hole here, how long will it, when would you want to play it out? And is there any 10 o'clock news? There's not a 10 o'clock news. So I think that maybe sometime after the S&P 500 opens, maybe you could possibly get a second leg. I'm really just want that second order to get filled to see if I can catch it. Because I feel like I have an okay spot. I don't know. The 2000 in line isn't really that great, is it? Came back down. We're back to where we were before. They might try pulling like a new low sort of a thing. Donald Trump is saying that he's considering some more economic sanctions on Russia because in order to get a ceasefire. Large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs. It's kind of crazy to think like there's more that you can do economically with Russia. Okay. Okay. You notice with the Donald Trump that he really tries to be like like it's really extreme. If you're doing what he wants, then you just get like everything, and if you're not doing what he wants, then he makes your life a living hell. So like when Zelensky was like sounded like he wasn't going to sign the mineral deal and there's all of this stuff and he needs to apologize and everything, and all of the headlines they were getting in the news and everything was like, oh, they're gonna stop weapons shipments to Ukraine and all of this sort of stuff, and now that I believe they did sign the deal, didn't they? And now all of a sudden it's, oh, we're going to do economic sanctions against Russia, we're going to do this, right? Like, all you got to do is bend the knee and then he's your best friend. I hadn't noticed that '08 became the point of control, so Well, we might get, we're coming up on VWAP now. Still very, very far away from cost basis, so. Do you ever test strategy based on crossing 200-day moving average? I mean, generally, what are you implying something more specific than that though? Like look at an intraday chart and if it crosses the 200-day moving average, do something rather than like if the day closes above the 200-day moving average, do something. Intraday. And I don't know if I have like intraday. I would expect though, well, so I think that if we were to write up something like that, we would want to have something more on it. So like, okay, once a 1 minute chart closes above the 200-day moving average, we take a position, and then what? Like how far do you hold it, or how long do you hold it for? It's sort of right. Because I would expect in a situation like that you could potentially get a lot of noise around those areas. That's a decent meta order coming the other way now, I think. See, this is why I put all of the trades on a non-farm stay on the experimental account, because I know that when I start scalping some of these moves that they don't always cooperate. I kind of want to keep it though. I still really want to see if I can get it at 11. I think that the original like premise for the trade is gone though. It seems awfully close to the VWAP for them to not touch it, doesn't it? The other thing is if I'm going to get into backtesting stuff, I think that we should look at the difference between the TradingView backtester and the NinjaTrader backtester, right? I think that would be a better use of our time if we were to start pulling out code. Yeah, we can definitely do it next week. But we'll do the TradingView thing first, and then we can get into some other ones. Because I do think that we should be able to show that there's maybe some strange volatility around those levels, right? I suppose there you could have something where it's like, you know, we're going like this, and then but then all of a sudden, whoop, at least the first time, you know? Because where a strategy like that kind of breaks down is when you have the moving average, and then it just starts doing this, right? And every time it does that, it enters, right? Well, let's see here. I also asked a question on fee-based development for level 2 data. Not sure I see where you're talking about. Oh no, I do see. Can we develop a level 2 database in which we collect raw level 2 data of multiple instruments? This database should process the level 2 data and should be able to serve multiple indicator/strategies. The database could be running on a different machine with separate data feed. Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, kind of. You're saying, can you just record all of the data and then send it to us, essentially, right? And then maybe you have the indicator that just goes and pulls the level 2 that it needs. Yeah. So it's definitely something that we have the technical ability to do. But I think to really do that proper, it would really require some significant resources. So you're keeping a database of all level 2 events received for probably multiple instruments, right? And then you're sending it to people on a regular basis. So that would require me to set up like some infrastructure. Like I would probably have to like go and get an AWS and put some stuff up over there. And then there would be data transfer and things like that. Like, I think that it would be expensive. Like, I think that a service like that, I would probably have to charge at least $30 a month, if not more. And we would need a significant number of people using it to start. So I don't think that it's practical right now. If we get to the point where we have our own platform and we have a good customer base, then I think something like that could be more practical. Because I've definitely thought about doing that for like, you know, things like volume profile levels and stuff like that. How much would it be to develop? Well, so we already have something in NinjaTrader that like records all of the events and outputs them to a file. not necessarily a database, but output some to a file. I haven't really ever looked at if there are some databases or tools like that that would really significantly benefit us over the flat CSV files, right? But if we were turning it into a service, then you would have to have a database. So I think that development-wise, like there would be, I think that it would be almost all infrastructure development, right? Like having an indicator that instead of like pulling that data from a flat file or something like that, sends a request to a service wouldn't be a huge deal. Although at that point, then you would also be like, wouldn't it be better to just have a data connector in there? I don't know. Like, I think that when I factor in all of the time that I would have to spend and the resources that I would have to spend, it would be in the tens of thousands. But again, I also think that I would probably need, yeah, like let's say 20K. 20K, maybe, then I could write it. But then the other thing is I don't think that it would make sense to do all of that, build all of that out and everything unless we had like 50 customers or something. And I really don't think that there's that many people out there that would be interested in that sort of a thing, you know? Like if you have 20K, you should just we should just invest in building a new platform. Okay, maybe it's so 0.5 is the cost basis. That is now in reach now that we've crossed over the VWAP. Normally you get a VWAP bounce and it didn't really do that this time. I know, I'm just holding those losers. But I mean, this is not a serious trade anyways, so I don't know if I really care. I really should have bailed on it. I think that the trade that I was trying to make, because I was really just trying to market make across this area because I thought that they were building out a distribution. I think I misread the area. I think that to really do this properly, I would really need to have a tight stop, you know? So I'm kind of like now in the mode of like, I don't know what to do about it and I don't really care because it's not a serious trade and so I'm not doing anything. Maybe that's just a good reason to be flat because then I'm just, you know, not being very serious, but hey, they did touch it. It also doesn't really make sense to stop out right there because usually it bounces, right? So I think the question, like, are we going to get back up to here? That seems like that's asking too much. So now the question is, like, where is the best place to exit? If we get back to this bump in the profile at 0.5, that's definitely something we should take a look at. Okay. Okay, well, it went over the 05 half without much fanfare. Hey, Paul, how are you doing? Can I build a new platform for 20K? Probably not, but I could probably get started for 20K. Hmm. Hmm. Something interesting going on there. S&P 500 has been relatively constrained here the first, like, what, 10 minutes? %, of AI researchers say artificial general intelligence research should be halted until we have a way to fully control these systems. Hmm. Okay, well, I think my limit should be 500, so I'll do that. I'll stop out of it. I think that's pretty typical that it's like, because I didn't really necessarily have, I felt like the fundamentals were on my side on buying, but it was like way more of a technical trade. You know, I knew it's a Friday and all these sort of, otherwise I would have switched it back over to the serious account, right? I think that to build a platform that I would need at least to get to like a minimum viable product sort of a thing, like something that you can actually open up and use. I think it would be required between $40,000 and $80,000. And that would be like using that money to make it so that my wife doesn't really have to work, and me not applying anywhere and just all day by myself coding on it for like 6 months. So that's actually a really good marker, because if we could get if we were to say the platform costs $1,000 at the beginning to get a license, right? And we were able to get 40 customers in the beginning, like that would be pretty good proof of concept for, like, that we could do it. So if I were to do something like, I don't know, if I really wanted to put in all of the work of doing a, I mean, I don't know if I would get 40, but if I was to do like a GoFundMe or something like that, and you said it was $1,000 and you got 40 people to put in, then I think that would be really good evidence that, like, it would be a viable business. But I don't know if or actually I don't know. I don't think that I have the marketing power to pull that. Yeah, thinking back on this, I said a lot earlier too. Oh, there's might be a counterflow, and then later on I was like, oh, there's definitely a counterflow. It was about 30,000 contracts, in fact. So it's actually pretty significant. We're starting to get towards like lows of the day in cumulative delta now. So not entirely sure what's going on, but there's definitely something shifting here. S&P 500 is, whoa, okay, that was weird. It's kind of turning bullish. What would my platform have that other platforms do not have? So it would have connections to languages that enable the use of machine learning and other similar things that retail traders want to do, but are very, very difficult to do in current platforms. Yeah, why not make an advertisement with a well, we could do that. But I'm saying, would 40 people sign up? I don't think they would. Now, see, if I went and I did like a friends and family funding round, and I was able to fund a couple $1 million or something like that, and then I could use some of that $1 million to go on a PR spree, right? Then it would be a different issue. Like, one of the issues right now is that the reach is still just not good enough. Back to evens, which is good for the options writers. That's a good point. I would offer 20K in the name of 3 grades. Thanks. Uzi should fund it. So, but I guess my point is it seems like it's like close, but like just not quite there in being viable. I mean, of course, I could just take the risk and do it anyways, but
Block
I
that.
I feel like that's too big of a risk to be taking with a bunch of people's money. And the other thing is I think that for me to really feel confident in doing that I would have to have some other people involved that fill in a few missing pieces. Like, if I was really going to go serious about this, I think I would want to have somebody that was more familiar with Rust than I am, because it would be like my first Rust application. I've done a lot of work, everything that I can to try and, learn that, but there's definitely going to be people that know more about it than me, right? And I also think that I would need somebody that was more, that was better at the PR side. I need like a selfless or a not selfless, a shameless self-promoter frat boy type guy, you know? That ain't me, says Easy. Oh, the shameless self-promoter. No, we but you do have money. That's so you could fund. If we were gonna do a friends and family fundraising round, the offering equity, we would definitely put you on the list to ask. It's now, well, but I don't know if it is now or never. That's the thing, is maybe it's better to wait a year and interest rates will be lower and it'll be a lot easier, right? Or maybe a wait a year or two and I'd be in a slightly better financial position. Or if I could get myself to a slightly better financial position, that would make it easier for me to take the risk. Like, in all seriousness, the only reason that discussion of this is so serious right now is because I can't find a day job, right? Otherwise, I would kind of still be putting it on, fairly low on the priority list. And a large part of that is because the economic conditions right now aren't very good for it. It's like you've got like a low hiring rate, very difficult markets, and interest rates still relatively high. If it was like if it was like 2008, right, and they had just brought interest rates down to near zero and all of those sorts of things, then I would be like, okay, let's just do it, because yeah, we can do fundraising, we can just borrow money at practically zero interest rate. Oh, and then there's also that rule about being able to, what is the word, discount or whatever your development costs over 5 years and whatnot. So that would need the tax the tax change too, I think. Yeah, Bill Gates started in a garage. I wonder how much did they raise, though? And how did he live? I mean, I don't think that Bill Gates had a wife and family when he did that. That's another thing. If I was 19 and living at home, then hell yeah, we'd be doing it right now. If I was 19 and living at home, I would have just, like, as soon as I got fired, like, okay, we're building a platform. And then I would have just stopped everything and done nothing but that. This is one of the things that really scares me is, like, when I go on to some of the subreddits where I'm seeing people talk about the difficult hiring market and everything. Most of these people that I'm seeing sound like kids. They don't have families and houses and things like that. And I'm seeing people, well, I guess there's a guy down the street that he was more in sales. He was in sales. He was actually involved in markets because he was selling market data, actually. He's been unemployed for like 2 years now. I don't know how but I think that he had a severance. But the point is I'm not seeing a whole lot of people that I can kind of, use as a gauge for, like, what do you do to stay afloat for that long. And so it kind of comes back to this spot that's like, probably the only real viable path is I gotta find a job somehow. Gotta find a tech job somehow. You find a new job when you're not looking for it. Well, they did. There was 2 jobs that I thought, there's a fairly decent chance that I'll get hired. The one that I thought went really, really well, they said no. Oh, I asked them. By the way, did I? One of the things that really drives me crazy in this whole search process, by the way, is that Gmail seems to be absolutely terrible at filtering the emails out and showing me the ones that are important. No, they did not. I asked them, like, what happened? But I didn't get a response back. But the other one I did get a message from yesterday. So get your mind focused on a new project. No. Well, so what's going on right now is my wife is working. When my wife is not working, I'm watching the kids, and when she's home, then I'm creating content for YouTube. I think I've done okay so far. I had 3 shorts yesterday. I had 3 shorts the day before that. It is like exactly what I was saying though before. I guess it was more on the YouTube side. When I make multiple shorts, so like normally I make a short and I post like maybe 1 a day, and it seems like it shows them. Like it seems to me that I get more views than I get on TikTok, that it'll give me like 600 views or something like that, right? But then when I start posting multiple videos a day, it's like some of them, it barely shows it to anybody. So I don't know. Although there are some that it got some views, I guess. Now the strange thing to me, well, maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, so see like this one right here is Team Trump pumping and dumping the markets, okay? That one got 1 comment and 15 likes, but it barely showed it to anybody. They must be using a thing. I saw this thing the other day that showed that basically on TikTok, the most important thing was that they finished watching the video. So if you're watching a video and you swipe just before the video ends, that's like a big mark against the video, apparently. Okay, we do seem to be getting the bounce off the cost basis now. I'm wondering, one of the things that I keep wondering in my head about the cost basis is, okay, when you do get a mean reversion, does it bounce off of this or does it bounce off of this? Well, it did bounce off of that the first time it touched it, which is kind of curious, but at least recently, it's been bouncing off of this. So. So, what I think we got going here is, okay, we got this one. Just view up typical. So I got on deck here a video about trading views backtester, a video on cumulative delta. Also wondering if I should make some changes to cumulative delta, because I don't think that I have filters on my cumulative delta, and that might be worthwhile. And a video about agent-based modeling. Maybe I really should just make that video limited specifically to agent-based modeling, but I don't know. Anyways, and then kind of got to find another interview, like in, you know, like a podcast interview. Let's just say next podcast guest. The ones that I thought was going to be next, wasn't work out short term. And I had some ideas on the other ones. I haven't gone and done anything about it. You taught a friend how to play poker and he averaged 30K. Wow. I don't think I really want to play poker, to be honest with you. Anyways. So these are the 3 that I get going. Making content. And I think that a video about trading views backtester could be relatively popular. So that might help. I think you're correct on that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a serious issue, and I've never seen anybody really dive into it. But I've dived into it a little bit. I think I can provide some insight into why it plays out that way. Well, let's get started on that a little bit, shall we? So it does seem like the treasuries have kind of found more their area, and that maybe they are pinned by the options. Let's just make it a new one. SMA crossover. SMA trend. State bot data loaded underscore trend equals SMA of period. Wish that I should be writing this in over here. Okay, wait. Indescript property. Public int period. Get set. On-bar update. If cross above 0, cross above, close, comma, or is it, which way is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it is. If trend crossed above the close. Oh, no. It's if the close crosses above the trend in the last bar. Enter long. If cross below, enter short. Add chart indicator trend. Fix the bugs here. Okay. So that's all correct. It's very interesting that is profitable over the period, but there's no stops or targets or anything like that, so that's why. Okay, so now we gotta go to TradingView. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Source code? There we go. Settings. Properties. Permitting. Oh, that's interesting. There's lots of stuff that it puts on there. Inputs. Length. 10. Okay. So let's just confirm that this does the same thing. Right, adding a moving average. Okay. It has confirm bars, but we only have that set to 1. Enter long. Oh wait, where does the decondition price is greater than the moving average? Should put this on a 1 minute chart. Okay, and come back to this chart. Whew. So let's just have it run. Let's have it just run on yesterday. Okay, so the first issue is going to be if they like start in the same spot, right? Okay, so let's put this over here. Oh, yeah, let's go back to the strategy tester. Yeah, the 7th to the 7th. Generate. Oh, it's a premium feature. Boo. Okay. Wait, why is that? Oi. Oi. $20.25.03.05. Oh, because it's the session. But wait, if I'm doing... Oh, wait. Today's the 7th. I think I just get myself all mixed up for no reason. Aha, okay. That looks more like it. Okay, and the first thing is that it's not the same. So let's come into here and just tell it to do the day before as well. But we'll just pull this back to that same spot. There we are. Okay. So you can see here, that's buying on this bar. Okay. Then it has a short here. Wait, why is that a short there? Oh, that is across below. It's right there. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Well, they both did it. And there's another one right here. In this bar, yeah. This one. Yeah. Okay. So they're all doing the same thing. Now, how do you get this into a spreadsheet? Export data. Urgh. Does somebody have a trading view? I know somebody that does. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at right now, Red Zone. The short answer is he's using TradingView, and I don't think that the TradingView backtester results are very good. What's your reasoning? Well, I'll try and show you. I've done this with another strategy before. So somebody made a strategy in TradingView, and they wanted to try it in NinjaTrader. So I converted it to NinjaTrader for them. And then we kind of like when we started comparing the two of them, we found that TradingView always gave a better entry price. So I think we can I mean, it would be best to show it on a spreadsheet, but I think I can do it over here. So if we come in entry time, and we come into that first one at 1600 or whatever, whenever it is, right? So down here. Oh no, it's gonna be like 4 p.m. or whatever. So I think it's this one. Right here. Okay, so here's this one that it took at 1600. Now we gotta find the one over here. It's kind of hard to match them up, right? That's why you want to have it in a spreadsheet. Because this one says 402. It's a buy. So I do think it's this one. Or maybe it's this one. Oh, 1601. Yeah. Okay, wait. When did it exit time? .402 to 411. So the first difference that you find is that they are like a minute apart, because TradingView says that it's like the bar that starts at that time, and NinjaTrader says that it's the bar that ends at that time, right? So then you have this one, it goes from 1601 to 1610, and this one's going to say it's from 1602 to 1611. Okay. So those are the right ones. So then we come in and we say entry price, exit price. Right there. Okay. So this NinjaTrader says that it entered at 5847 even. 5847 even. And this one says that it got 5847 even. Okay, so that time it was the same. And 5849.50. Okay, so that one was the same. This one. So then we go to the next one. 5849.50. 58. Oh, okay, so now I'm already coming into a strange discrepancy. Am I looking at the right one? So from 1610 to 1611. That's this right here. 584950. Oh, okay. 5851 is the exit. Okay, that's correct as well. The one that I was looking at, they were different. Well, so the other thing is that I want what it was the performance over just that one day. Nor do they come out to be the same, right? But what I was finding on some of these was that the trading view was always giving you 1 or 2 ticks better. Oh, this is just moving average crossover, by the way. So I haven't been seeing all you guys' comments here. Let's run back here. Frederick says, but generally if you're using cross below, cross above, then your results will differ from market replay because it refers to period 0, which is closed in backtesting, or else is unfinished in replay. On that base, the results of the strategy analyzer and also trading view are both too good to be true. You might need to refer to close 1 manually to have representative. I don't think that that's correct. It will give you the opening price of the next bar, which should be the price that it was. And for a strategy like that, it should be pretty close to the same as live. But it's curious that maybe if so we only looked at 2. We only looked at 2 trades, right? If I can get somebody to export, and I sent a message to somebody that I was working with earlier that would be able to export it. Can you not paste code into? What do you mean by that? Well, I've got the same strategy going on both one. So the reason we picked a moving average crossover is because that's like just the simplest strategy that you could possibly use, right? So we got the simplest strategy that you can possibly use. Now let's compare the two, right? We looked at 2 trades. They look the same. But if we go through all of it, oh, by the way, when we did this 1601 to 1610, and then 1402 to 1611, and the profit was 125 over here, and 125 over here. Okay. If we go through the whole thing and we match all of the trades up and they're all exactly the same, then that means that it has something to do with the specific strategy that I was looking at earlier, and we have to go and do a more complicated one, which would be very interesting. Well, we could go and do the profitable strategy, but I'm just trying to show you that in general, we have found that the trading view backtest results are overly optimistic. So this is like the 3rd time I've done this. So this is why I'm kind of like, okay, like let's really do this proper, you know? But I don't have their thing. Maybe I just need to buy their thing. I'm going to be doing this because I can't have somebody doing it, you know, exporting it for me. But I think that then I would go and do one of his ones that he says is that this other guy says is profitable. But first, I think we have to do is we have to try like the simplest strategies so that you can clearly show where the one backtester is different from the other, and then clearly show that what is the actual reality, like what would you actually get when you were trading, right? Because I think the issue is that these backtesters, they don't know what the historical tick replay was. So if it opens up at 58.49, all right, 58.47. If it opens up at 58.47, then would you have actually been able to buy it at 58.47? What if that first trade was actually a sell, and the bid is 58.47 and the offer is 58.47.25, right? Then you wouldn't have gotten 58.47. You would have gotten 25, unless you put a limit order and you got filled, right? So that already right there is something where the backtester, and this is even with NinjaTrader, that's already something where the backtester could be off by 2 ticks on every trade. That's why in NinjaTrader, I kind of recommend coming in here and giving yourself like 2 ticks of slippage and seeing if it still works. Because if it's giving you a fill on the limit order every time, and you're making 2 ticks every time, yeah, then you're gonna make money, probably, right? This is not a realistic backtest. But what I was seeing when I was looking at, and I don't think I can show you guys this strategy, but this other guy's strategy, when we were doing the comparison, they were off. Oh, I have those spreadsheets. I guess I can show you those spreadsheets. So there's one. And oh, that's just excellence. There's another one. So here they were doing it on NQ. So let's go and find an entry time. Let's see here. Let's just daytime. Okay. So wow. We're hearing a headline that the administration is discussing banning the DeepSeek app from the Google App Store. 10. Over here. 10. First trade on the 10th. Yes. At 5. Yes. Okay. So you see here, when I look at it, it's going long. This one gets 2174.225. This one gets 21742. So this one right here, NinjaTrader. Oh, is the NinjaTrader getting actually better than this one in that particular instance? And then the exit was, oh my gosh, this is so hard to do, right? Should just do it like this. Control C, file, new. Okay, so in this one, if I'm reading everything correctly, NinjaTrader made a tick better. So it's just like you have to go through the whole spreadsheet, right? And find, okay, what's the difference between the two? There's a difference in rules that they're getting different prices. And like, what's the differences? Because I've found that on a whole, TradingView's backtest always is optimistic. So we can do that and we can isolate it, right? Like we want to have like the simplest backtest you can have that will show the difference between the two backtesters. And there might be these tiny little differences, and there might be a couple of different things where they're like different, right? And then we could go and we could look at this guy's profitable strategy that, or one, I don't know which one do you want? I still have it open. I was looking at this one. Consistently profitable, 2,000 plus trade back tests. And it sounds like he's just saying he's using MACDs and stochastics and stuff. So I'm immediately like, oh, this is bullshit. This is not going to work. Right? Even if this was true, that's right. Yeah, oh, I absolutely would. Let me tell you what, Red Zone, 1 or 2 ticks per trade can totally kill a strategy. Can totally kill a strategy for sure. But which one would you want to do? Is there a different one that you would want to do? I think I had done that by going in here and was looking at like what is the most popular one. I picked this one. There's also this other one, this envelope trading strategy. You want his latest? Okay, so with this one that says one small change made this strategy way more profitable. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It's a rock strategy, okay. I've seen some interesting things with rock strategies, but I will put this over here and listen to it. Yeah, anyways, where I kind of had finished when I was doing the thing before was like trying to match the trades up and everything. Well, on this one of the things that I had found was that like the first few trades would be the same, but then as it got further along, they were drifting for some reason. So that's why it's like you got to use the most simple strategy that you can first, because you've got to minimize the chances of there being something different between the two of them, right? But again, the issue I'm having right now is I can't export it myself. Export data. We need premium. Upgrade now. Professional. How much is it? Chart data export. No. What did it say? Premium. I'm not going to pay $50. Free trial. Now we're just gonna wait for Aaron and see if he sends it to us. Close that. Close that. Close that. Minimize that. We're just hearing Williams's comments is coming through now. I'm gonna turn the news clock off so we can watch this. Oh, this is not Trading View. This is Thinkorswim. So the first thing that I'm seeing here is that he's doing this over multiple stocks. So that's a different thing too. I don't think that I would have the really ability to do this. Maybe I could load this up in Thinkorswim and run it on ES and then compare. So this particular one that he's doing right here is maybe a little bit different because that let me come back here a little bit. Right. Does it show me? I mean, this looks like a daily chart, right? So if it's a daily chart, then we're in a completely different world, right? See where? Yeah, there it is right there. You can see it right there. He's running it on daily bars. So this strategy wouldn't qualify, right? Because momentum on daily bars is a thing. Yeah. Momentum on daily bars. I don't know if when we were talking about that the other day, if you had caught that part, but there are some assets have a propensity to trend on very long time frames. So time series momentum and cross-sectional momentum. Cross-sectional momentum meaning like look at all of the different assets and buy the one that was up the most that day or something like that. I'll turn the news squawk back on.
Block sell.
Big headline coming through. Putin is said to be ready to agree to Ukraine truce with conditions. Okay. Treasury's really coming down off of that one. So this is definitely like a market moving headline, but I'm not sure that I have a clear direction for how this would predict future orders other than, but we're getting a lot of chaos here. Okay, anyways, momentum is a thing. I have a video, you can go watch that about what momentum, my momentum video. It's like 2 or 3 videos back. That is a proven thing of markets, and in fact, all of this stuff that we're kind of talking about, like the square root law and all of those sorts of things, kind of help explain why momentum is a profitable strategy, or at least historically, momentum was a profitable strategy, right? But what we're talking about is on intraday. If you're running and you're doing anything intraday using a single time price series, you're not gonna find anything. The one that I was looking at, this one, sure looked to me like an intraday strategy, but maybe not. Or it sure looked to me like Trading View. Yeah, here he's using Trading View. Eek. Now, okay, so this is he running this on Python? That's problematic. May have been looking at original poster video. So another thing that's going on here is that he's running it on stocks, right? And if you're doing something like you're filtering somehow between a bunch of different stocks, that might be something different, right? But he's doing some things that are that kind of violate some of our, like the rule of validity, right? So my contention is that financial markets are extremely efficient on short time frames, which means if you take an individual single time price series of like 1 minute bars, that it's almost impossible to use the past price history to make profitable trades, right? So that means coming in, putting the strategy on S&P 500 futures and running through it and running it over 5 years or something like that, right? Once you start doing things like running it over every stock in the Russell 1000 and having some sort of filters about whether or not you trade that particular stock that day, completely different world, because now you're doing portfolio stuff, and there are lots of inefficiencies that you can take advantage of when it comes into portfolio stuff, right? So this is where, like, the biggest issue I see with retail traders is that they say, oh, okay, well, there are people that have made money doing quantitative trading of some sort. And so that must mean that, like, I can just open up a chart and do technical analysis on my chart and it'll work, right? But there are key things about the way that these like portfolio and momentum strategies work that you're missing that are really key to why they work. You're running it over a bunch of different assets. You're running it on daily bars. You're right. Okay, this one, it says 1 hour candles, so that's maybe I've never been able to really look at 1 hours. But it's not a 1 minute, right? Does they have one where it's a 1 minute? I bet you it doesn't have one that's a minute 1 minute chart. Right? You see what I mean? But that's interesting also that he was showing all of this stuff on TradingView, but then when he's back testing, it sounds like he's saying, I don't know, by the way, this distribution, that doesn't look like that's actually a really good profitable strategy, to be honest with you. But it seems like he's using Python there. Yeah. And he doesn't have links to anything, so I can't go and use exactly his stuff. Right? So probably what would happen is I could load this up, like I could program it myself and put it on ES and run it, but it probably wouldn't work. Right? And then, well, what's the difference? Why does he think that it? Well, because he's running it against stocks with all these filters and stuff. Right? So I think I still want to make something that's like, what's the difference between TradingView and NinjaTrader backtester? Because I've never seen a TradingView backtest that didn't look good. Right? It's time for me to get going, though. We can continue that. Maybe. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll come back. I guess because I don't want to spend $50 to make that video. Guys, all right. I'm going to get going. I will see you Monday. Stay excellenting.